be time served and reinstated with the condition that he take an 8-hour anger management class and provide proof of employment to his probation officer.
Mr. Green, did you hear the announcement the attorney made regarding the disposition of your probation violation? Is that your understanding of the agreement? Any questions about that agreement or what you're going to be required to do and not do as part of that agreement? You're going to waive your right to hearing and accept that agreement? And do you admit you violated your probation?
Yes, sir.
Court finds violates probation, sustains petition, places agreement into effect.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
He's on probation and he's done.
Kyle and Becca?
No answer.
Terrence Avery?
He's present. And this, he wanted me to let the court know that he's being screened for mental health court today.
Does he need to go down there and do that?
I think they're coming here, is my understanding.
And they have a quote.
No, of course.
Julie, I just spoke with Julie, she said you was doing the opening, whatever.
I think they're gonna come up here and
I
talk.
don't know where.
Okay, I think they're good.
Ms. Hurd was under the impression it was for hearing today.
Oh, okay, well, I will let Stacy get here.
We'll let them sort that one.
Well, I mean, it may still be for hearing, but didn't I want him screened?
Yeah, it says on the docket defendant to be screened for mental health.
Yeah, but that doesn't,
Do it today. They got to do it today.
all right.
Nathan Davidson?
He's not here yet.
He never is.
He's always late.
Vaughn Harris?
He's in the back. The family was unavailable today. I got a message at 6:19 this morning.
Dalton Fulton?
Judge, Mr. Holton is on today for status. We had a hearing on this case, you may recall, back in January, on January 19th. At that time, he was released and placed back on probation.
Hold on, wait, he's coming on the screen.
There he is. Mr. Holton, can you hear me?
You don't have his audio. He's connected to the audio right now.
Mr. Holton, can you hear me?
Check. Let's check his audio. Okay, you can hear you there, so be on now.
Okay, Mr. Holton.
How you doing?
Okay, good. So, Judge, Mr. Holton was last here in court on January 19th. We had a lengthy hearing at that day on a suspended sentence motion. The court granted his motion and placed him on 2 years probation. Part of that, he was to live with his mother, be subjected to frequent random drug screens, and just to be back in 90 days to give an update on where he is. Judge, he stayed in contact with me during this 90-day period. He immediately went back home, full-time employment. He's living with his mother. That's who's with him. He's provided me with check stubs, which I've provided to the state this morning, and the state's reviewed. I think he's doing well there. He is back. You may recall that there was an issue with a probation officer where he's from. He is back with that same probation officer, sees him weekly. He does a monthly home visit. I think if there were any issues at this point in time, there would have long ago been a probation violation filed just based on the prior relationship with the probation officer. I've talked to Mr. Holton. He advises that he and the probation officer are doing well everything seems to be going smooth. I think at this time he can
What
just.
about mental health treatment?
Mr. Holton, have you received any kind of mental health treatment?
No, I followed up with the lady there. I'm supposed to meet with her again this month. I had talked to her, but I took the survey from a guy from Knoxville. I got the facts on that. I should have sent them in too.
When was that?
As soon as I was released within the week.
And who do you have an appointment with next month?
Ollie Brown. Yeah.
And who is she?
She's a forensic at the probation office.
Forensic social worker.
Forensic social worker at the probation office?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Do you know when you meet with her?
Hold on. May 3rd.
3rd or 30th?
I think you said 3rd.
Yeah, May 3rd.
All right. All right, we'll just make it an all case. Can you notify his probation officer, make sure they follow up on mental health treatment? All right, Mr. Holton, you're good to go. We just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. All right? Right.
Thank you, Mr. Holton.
Arnold Johnson,
No answer.
Latonia Garner,
Their appearance was waived on Philip. Nick McGregor is taking the appointment, and Shaw was gonna get it all the paperwork and everything. I think we set it for May 13th.
Here, I have spoke to Mr. McGregor about the case and kind of gave him the 30-minute clip notes version. But I know that Mr. Cunningham has everything digital, so he should be able to get everything quickly. And I will email with both Mr. Allensworth and him about setting the trial.
Yeah,
Because I think we are actually supposed to be here today.
we're supposed to what?
Take the trial date today.
Just get something, let us know.
Michael Holt,
He's in quarantine and will not be joining us today.
Judge, I've spoke with Mr. Holt earlier this week. This is, I guess this was in the form of a pro se post-conviction, and I've been working with the state. We thought we were going to be able to work this out. After my visit with Mr. Holt earlier in the week, I do not believe that's going to be the case.
All right.
So I think we probably need to be honest, I need to look at the file, see where we are and what was filed, probably file some type of at least amended petition, get the transcript of the plea, all of that, so maybe a few months.
You mean June or July?
July 15th?
That sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
It's at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Selena Williams,
That's just the status.
Have you done anything?
Yes, sir. You want us to go ahead and,
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
so the one, I emailed Ms. Zachary this morning about GPS because Mr. Ewald and I hadn't heard from her. She knew about the court date, so I'm not sure what the deal is, but I emailed her a little while ago to see if she could go ahead and send us the GPS reports. But in terms of the other items, I guess I'll let Ms. Williams, what have you been doing for your driver's license?
I took my driver's license test on April 8th.
The written test?
Yes, the written
Oh,
test.
sorry.
do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what happened on the written test?
I passed it the first try, and then I have my road driving test on May 24th at 10 a.m.
All right.
And then I got a housekeeping job at a hotel in Brentwood on April 14th. And then, you have my LLC?
Yes, I do. Hold on.
And then I have my, is this just the application or just?
Is the application? That's what you sent me?
Yeah, I had submitted a LLC application for my hair business. And then the mental health co-op.
And I can speak about that, Judge.
Yeah.
So Ms. Williams contacted, the appointment was supposed to be yesterday at 1:00. Ms. Williams contacted me first thing in the morning, said I called them today to confirm I had an appointment today. They said they had no idea what's going on. So I reached out to the folks at the Behavioral Care Center to say like, what's happening? And they said the provider called out yesterday, so then they canceled the appointment, and I've got emails about that if the court wants to see those. But do you have a rescheduled appointment, Ms. Williams?
Yes, I rescheduled it, and they said the next opening, like they're all booked up this month and most next month, so I can't be seen till May 24th too. Right before my driving test is at 8:15 a.m.
Give me a date after May 24th.
27th.
See you May 27th.
May 27th? Okay.
And Judge, I mean, so I guess one of the reasons we were here today is if Ms. Williams was doing everything right, we could address whether she needs to continue being on GPS. Could we wait a little while and see if we hear from the GPS folks?
I haven't heard anything that she's out of compliance, but that doesn't mean that.
Right, I mean, Ms. Zachary is pretty proactive about letting us know if there are issues, but I imagine the court would want to see whatever those reports are.
And, Ms. Christian, they usually stay in touch with each other. She was here a minute ago.
I can
She
check.
can hunt her down and we'll take care of that real quick. And if everything is going well, I'll take her off GPS.
Okay, and Judge, one other issue, I imagine the court heard about the little 3-year-old who was killed in shooting. Ms. Williams, how would you categorize her relationship to you?
She was like my god little sister, because I was staying with Ayeta Marlowe. We speak about her last time, and that's her daughter.
So you were taking care of those kids?
Yeah.
So, and I guess currently Ms. Williams's curfew is 9 to 3. Well, outside of 9 to 3, you have to be at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a viewing today for Jamila?
Jamila.
Yeah, from 3 to 6. So we just have an agreed order about her being able to do that.
Does she need?
And do you want a copy of the LLC or anything? Do you want it?
Yeah.
Did you go?
Thank you.
Okay.
It was a very good
I
turn.
had
Yeah, it's also a news report. All right, Ms. Williams, if you can just hang in real time, for a few minutes, we'll try and get an update on the GPS and see what we're gonna do about that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate everything else you're doing. Keep that part of it up.
Just to say, that's Mr. Lavender on the 8:15 or 8:30.
Hey, Mr. Lavender, my name is Jessica Dragonetti. I work with Mary Ruth Tate, and she asked, can you hear me? Okay, and she asked if I could stand in for this announcement for you. Is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, what is the announcement?
Subject to the court's approval, Mr. Lavender is going to serve 6 months and then be reinstated with an additional condition of an IOP.
Mr. Lavender, did you hear the announcement your attorney made regarding the disposition of your probation violation?
Yes, sir.
Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
Any questions about that agreement and what you're gonna be required to do and not do as a part of that agreement?
And I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Do you have any questions about any of it?
Do I get all my transfer when I first came to jail?
You'll get your time from when you went in this most recently, yeah, not for all the other time. I mean, it's about your 9th time being in here just on probation violations.
Yes, sir.
So now, you only get the time on the most recent incarceration.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
You gonna waive your right to hearing and accept that agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you admit that you violated your probation?
Yes, sir.
Or found you violated probation, sustain the petition, place the agreement into effect. Make a note that if he, violation issues again, we're just gonna have a hearing on it. Because this is, I think 9 violations is kind of reaching the limit.
Yes, sir.
Meet with probation.
That's what I'm saying.
You didn't make it.
He's gonna be on probation and then he will be done. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy Green. Mr. Green did not fill out the form because.
Jimmy Green.
So.
No, that's not horrible. I can't do that.
No, I'm sorry.
The first week. What's they got to do with setting trial on the end of the month?
No, I'm sorry. That person's.
Now, well, go ahead and set it then. Well, what's the post conviction?
I didn't ask that question because I just wanted.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna let the post conviction hearing interfere with that, so.
I'll put it off the group and I'll put it on start date. I put this kicking out.
Yeah. Sounds good. Did you hear that?
I would go.
She's like in a flight right now.
Yeah, I'm there.
Just moving you towards your farewell stage.
Sooner.
That's the first step to,
Retirement?
a renewed
No,
commitment to work.
no, sir. I think I'll have treatment that week. That month. I'll need to be chat.
Okay.
For sure. This is Jamie Green on page 4.
Oh. Jamie Green?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Jamie Green.
What are we doing, Mr. Green?
Well, Your Honor, well, today, he's actually on Your Honor's docket for a couple of matters. One is this arraignment, and I believe he's set for, or has a probation violation as well. Your Honor, within the last week or so, I took over all of Mr. Green's cases and sessions. We went ahead and bound over everything. They did not have a hearing on all of it. It looks like most of it, and all of these charges here appear to be Home Depot. I think the remaining cases will probably be similar. So I spoke with General Ewald. I think we could probably get together and at least talk about a global resolution before we have a hearing today. If I'm
No, that's fine. Let's get in the rain, we'll push it out. So is it, there wasn't criminal information, it's just going the normal route?
Just go in the normal route. I thought that'd be the quickest. General Ewald needed to look into some matters. There is one or two cases, I believe there's one case that might have been bound over that I didn't handle. But it's my understanding now, everything that he has is coming here. I've sent everything up. I'll be happy to follow up. If I didn't handle it in sessions, I'll be happy to go ahead and handle it now. So if we can just get everything together and bunched up, we can deal with this. But in the meantime.
And then we'll put a date out, say in August or something.
That'd be fine. I bound them over last week, I believe, so. But in the meantime.
Well, at least at Home Depot, they want to get some stock in it now that he's in custody for 4 months. Their profits may increase significantly.
What was them other people's name? Father, son.
What's that?
Falls? Were they
Falls.
the?
Oh,
It was your case too.
Yeah,
I can't remember, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can't remember.
Yeah, you keep this up, Mr. Ewald, you'll end up being corporate counsel for all this.
Good company. Any corporate blank.
Go ahead with your arraignment.
May it please the court, on behalf of Mr. Jamie Christopher Green, we acknowledge receipt of indictment 21A 476, waive a formal reading thereof, and plead not guilty to all charges contained therein. We don't have discussion dates in this courtroom per se, Mr. Green, but I'm going to be in contact with the district attorney. We do have a deadline of February the 23rd of next year, but we'll have all of this resolved by then.
Yeah, give me a date in August or September, somewhere around there.
August or September are fine. I think General Ewald and I'll probably.
Everything will be up by then, you'll have time to look, review discovery and stuff.
Any date.
September 2nd.
Okay. Mr. Green's date of birth is 3/9/70, and the last four of his social are 0154. I take it that will be General Ewald.
Yes, sir.
If you decide you wanna do something on these TVs before, so you can get jail credit, just let us know, we can always.
I guess could I ask real quick how far or how many years he's facing on the PVs?
I've got 1129 and a 6-year at 60%.
Yeah, consecutive.
So he would not go to TDOC if we were to put the sentence into effect right now.
Yeah, he would because he got 1129 consecutive, so
Oh,
it's 6
okay.
years, 11 months, 29 days.
If I can speak with him in the back for just a second.
Way to go, Miss Smith. Log up the.
I'll be right back.
Well, I'd rather get some jail credit rather than.
He's not done, you got
Put this in September, get jail credit, and we'll be on video going, do I get off my jail credit? I'm all that again. Okay. Right. Are you doing Deborah? It's Chris Street. Or are you doing Vest?
I did speak with Ms. Best. But I'm looking for Mr. Jackson, I guess, for that.
You're good?
Jack Jackson was in here earlier, called it up.
Oh. Let me see what I got.
Mr. Jackson had to go to Division 2 for a hearing.
Okay.
If it's running, I think we have to.
Well, I think,
I'm not opposed to the motion, it says full restitution is gonna be paid. Jessica,
I'm sorry.
the last I got from Chad, it said I'm not opposing the motion since full restitution is gonna be paid.
Right, I think we just need to know where that restitution needs to go. And then, I guess the other issue, so it's a very large money order.
You need copies. I'm sure.
Well, and I think what Mr. Burton and Mr. Jensen had discussed is would the court be willing to send it? We were kind of both uncomfortable taking possession of that large money order.
First of all, who are we talking about?
Ms. Best,
Should we wait, let's wait.
I have this, yeah, we can wait for this.
Dennis?
Okay. We're gonna wait. I have to take a look at this other stuff.
Who is the recipient of the monies?
It's
Jackson.
Ted, yeah.
I know who the recipient of the money is.
Bank of America? It's Bank of America, but we're not sure who specifically needs to go to their attention and what that is.
You'll have to send
I assume Mr. Jackson's had communications with their,
it to their fraud division.
Okay.
then where?
Restitution like that goes to the Bank of America fraud division.
Where is it located?
You call the main Bank of America number, that will connect you with the fraud division. I don't know their address, but.
I guess I would, given the amount of money we're talking about, I just want to be sure we're sending it to somebody who's expecting it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to go like through FedEx or someplace where we can get a signature on it or certified mail or registered mail. Registered mail, is that what it
Don't y'all
is?
certify downstairs?
Huh?
Yeah, If everybody else
So we can take care of it, I want a paper trail of it, make sure it does get where it's gotta go. But I'd like to have the specific information, I assume Mr. Jackson may have that.
Give me those, and I can already make copies, and that way we'll have them. Count them out, we'll see them. No, I'll bring them back to you, count them out.
We ready on anything else?
Well, I guess we can take, Mr. Dedrick.
Okay, I just need just a moment, sorry, I need to.
Then we ready on anything else?
No, sir. It's gonna be one of those days. I did not send out a list
See,
yesterday,
that's what happened.
and that's what I was informed by the attorney. You didn't send out a list, so I didn't know what we were doing.
Oh.
Last time I checked, I wasn't involved. I got a little bit more going on in my theater. They gotta come back. Oh, no,
Let's see who watches.
yeah, I mean, if they're doing it, they I tell them my customers, they're gonna have those conversations. You know, I know that's not first honest.
I forgot how you get the daycare works for what I do.
Yeah.
So right now, since they don't have a
City, it's like 7%. You
You
need
get
to
their
get
shit
your
running,
money.
you have to take it
And then
all
you
right
work.
in every afternoon.
Come in, listen, I'm not trouble.
But today, he just goes to pay the dog to stay with me.
They might let you go, but you gotta.
But, I just spoke to Eddie from last, at least.
The big thing is resting, that's why people now.
I mean, our current child, Joey, goes get him ready to the point where we're taking him in a couple of days. Just so he don't get to it as, to where I drop him off and he can have a little, or just so he can be around.
Right.
You know that Rihanna song?
Like, good morning.
And I had one class and then I got, like, I can't hear, so I'm like, wait, it is my mom. You still eat milk? I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's all the information, call her, she was still, I'm like, I don't know. You know, you got her fired. I hope nobody thinks, let me, yeah, she got her fired or someone, it's just.
Where you going, bro?
And she called because he was talking about, he's living
How you?
Yeah, I mean, like.
I know I was a sheriff, I used to hear a lot of people out there.
Yeah, so.
That's such a long patient. They doing well, they can't. I've heard things like, they come up and complaining because
We gotta get, this other lady's the same way, it's like probation, and all. Kind of the same thing, and, she called, I didn't know when she came to the restriction, I said, man, he hasn't put it in there, I don't know. And also, I'm not a doctor.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you.
This is awesome, I said, no, we didn't just talk to him yet.
So they keep calling and calling.
So then I got email from her. I'm like, I've already talked to her, I've already talked to her. Here is his officer, I'm not his officer, so I don't know.
Please, may see you come to order for the back in session.
Yes.
Mr. Deborah, on page 3.
Mr. Dennis,
Oh, no, he went to District 3.
Square. Let me read him first. What is this?
He said it's not taking a position, but it's still probably not here.
We'll go back to it. I don't know what this position is.
We can take this Williams up again. Well, that's Mr. Crosby's too, but. Well, you just said that there was no, we've already had the, yeah, okay, the stuff, this is the GPS. Okay.
So Ms. Zachary sent Mr. Ewald and me an email that there haven't been any issues. And Mr. Ewald got that too, we talked about it. So I guess we would, be requesting at this point that she be able to take the GPS off, and that the curfew condition also be removed.
I will do that, but, Ms. Wayne, to make it very clear to you, just because you're off GPS doesn't mean you're out from under the scrutiny of the court. You got a lot of things you still have to do and do right,
Yes, sir.
okay? It doesn't give you any, openings to go do what you wanna do.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Just have a seat, we'll have to get you an order to get that off your.
Okay, thank you.
She did, Ralph.
Work for me.
Well, Nate, did you cover, is there an announcement on Step Up?
Oh.
Greg and Eddie was supposed to make that happen on schedule. Come do, Rob. Mr. Dedrick,
Step up to the podium, please, sir. Continue to be sworn to this.
What are we doing, Mr. Dedrick?
Good morning, sir. Judge, I tried to lay it out in quite a bit of detail in the motion, but if you'd like to hear from Mr. Dedrick, I'm happy to call him, sorry.
Why does he need to go out of state and work? We got more than enough, work going on in Nashville, say, to me.
Do you want to answer that? Well, it depends on what type of where it's at, the company I work for, especially during the hurricane season. We go down south. Basically, it's local, metro, but when we have to go, we go. Out of town, out of state.
And Judge, I did want to just maybe run through the timeline real quick. He was in DC4 residential for 14 and a half months. He was then at Samaritan for 8 months. He did have a brief relapse and went back to DC4 residential for another 8.5 months. He was then at RCI, which is another sober living place, starting in February of last year. And then in March of last year was when there was a positive alcohol screen that was resolved by agreement. He was on Scram for 8 months, didn't have any violations. Since then, he was at RCI. He's now at an Oxford house, also sober living. So he's been, all those times when he wasn't in DC4 residential, he's been under community correction supervision, which obviously, has.
State have a position?
No, Your Honor.
I'll, grant a motion, put him on the supervised probation.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, if you'll just have a seat in that room out there on the right, she'll come talk to you.
What, you see Dragon Eddie?
Just out there. Oh, sure.
About 7.
Yes.
Where he serves all the time, and then some.
Is what?
He served all the time, and then some.
What law enforcement is girls?
She did hear what she was saying.
Okay, I'll double check with Stephanie, maybe I got you. I know.
So, remember the whole time that thing against Kovac?
Yeah.
Kovac received a notice from the Board of Professional Responsibility. He's been subpoenaed to testify in this during the trial. She was offered like a reprimand or something, and she refuses, well, they don't press charges again. I said, you go back, you're the one usually always on it.
Yes.
The irony of it is unbelievable. Yeah, and he's one of the state's key witnesses.
He's good.
I said, that's a stitch, and you're gonna expect to get some.
Now they want you.
Wait, are you talking about Zach?
No, Arnold Johnson's. There we go. Maybe it was here. Yeah, I know she's been here. So I'm down there, but so she's here.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson?
Just we're going.
Are you clarify?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially if you go on we're going on Friday.
Okay, here's this. Good over.
Lost 2 games
Dave, she's talking about strawberry or something else. No, that's his number.
Great.
Jen, are you ready on 60?
You show anything. Yeah, we don't keep it here anymore. Oh, maybe you want to sit? Yeah, it's got a compromise.
She does, are you ready for that?
This division used to be one of
No, you can't do that originally.
Oh.
I didn't. Oh, James? Yeah.
Why not?
I'm sorry. I thought that was. Do you guys want a copy of it?
I have one. And I guess I have a copy of some.
Okay, okay, I can't buy your copy if needed, but.
No, it's no problem.
Let me have 60.
Okay, oh, yeah, they're home.
Okay.
They're, you got a 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Or you just go to San Diego and watch. Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Kid land.
Don't like that.
Oh, yeah.
Did Ms. Sloan submit any documentation, or was it just her testimony?
She did submit some documentation. It was her H&R Block account.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at. Any argument?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we have had, as the court is well aware, many hearings on this one motion. Mr. Sigsbee testified, and I can't remember which date he did, but he testified that he was incarcerated since April the 30th, 2017. It is now April the 21st, 2021. That's all but 4 years in custody without a conviction or a trial. Mr. Sigsbee was represented by Mr. Collins prior to me, and I'm sure the court remembers this. Once COVID-19 started, Mr. Collins decided to retire, and then the court appointed present counsel for Mr. Sigsbee. Since then, we all know the pandemic has been ongoing, and we've just recently started jury trials. Mr. Sigsbee has not, to my understanding, been the cause or requested any of the delays or the continuances for the trial. Based on that, I would request that Mr. Sigsbee's bond be reduced based on my motion to reduce his bond that I filed initially from $100,000 to $50,000. However, if the court is not agreeable to reducing the bond below the sourceable amount, Mr. Sigsbee has provided testimony and evidence from 2 different sources that have $5,000 each in their checking accounts or other accounts, savings account, whatever they are. This money came from the Internal Revenue Service in the form of tax returns for both ladies and stimulus checks for both ladies. Last time we were in court on April the 8th, the court requested a copy of Ms. Chelsea Crook's tax return for 2020 concerned because of her income this year was not very high. We provided that tax return the same day that the court requested it, and it does reflect the in excess of $9,500 tax return. That said, we also have a home for Mr. Sigsby to live in, and that was with Ms. Sloan. She testified on April the 8th that she would help him find a job and be sure he came to court on time, as always. Based on that, I would request either the bond reduction or an approval of the source. Both women testified they had not spent any of the money since March 31st. They both have the $5,000 still remaining in their accounts each. That equals the $10,000 required for the $100,000 bond.
What happened to Miss Wardlaw?
She was here last time, present in person, out in the hallway waiting. She has worked with Mr. Sigsby, but at this point we are trying to just post the bond. I would request an ankle monitor for him so we know exactly where he is at all times.
If you post a bond, he's gonna be on house arrest. He's not going anywhere.
Yes, sir.
I don't care. He's not going to the grocery store.
I understand. Yes, sir. He will.
It wouldn't be the same as being in jail. It's just that this house may be a little bit better than the cell it's presently in, because he's not gonna be moving around.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it just, I mean, Ms. Wardlaw was offering a lot of services and working with him and this type of stuff. And all of a sudden he's living with this Miss Sloan, who did not testify about her home conditions. And I recall she was testified about money.
I believe she testified about where she lived and how long she's lived there. At the very beginning of her testimony. Very brief, Your Honor.
Summer Place
Yes, sir.
in East Nashville.
Yes, sir. Based on all of that, Mr. Sigsby requests a bond reduction or the source be approved, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, at the last hearing that we had on this matter on April 8th, Ms. Stacy submitted several financial documents through the witnesses. Those were not provided to the state in advance of that hearing. So I was looking at them as we were asking questions of the witnesses. After that hearing date, I spent several hours going back through the financial records, specifically those of Miss Chelsea Crooks. And I filed a written response just because of the dollar amounts. It was somewhat confusing to not have it written down in writing. The account statements that were submitted showed a total of $30,607.92 of deposits for the 2 months of February and March of 2021. And going through the deposits, it shows the $4,200 stimulus check as well as the $9,530 IRS tax refund. It also showed $1,174.14 in payroll earnings. There were $444.17 in Visa transfers, which that total deposit was $15,348.31, which was only about half of the total deposits. There was a $817.16 balance on February 1st, but we have $30,000 of money coming in, and the testimony about the source of the funds was only for half of that. The balance is only $5,000 at the end of March, which I have absolutely no idea what the explanation to that is. It's just in going through a detailed review of the financial records submitted by that witness, it does not appear to me that
there is testimony before the court about the source of the funds related to that account that would explain that $5,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure I even understand this chime records, how they even work, with these 3 different accounts and stuff, but I'm still puzzled about all that.
I had to take all of it and enter it into a spreadsheet to be able to make any sense of it. And it appears that the additional $15,000 is coming from transfers from another account.
The chime account.
Right, which I don't know if it's technically the credit builder account, that's the transfers, but when you look at the IRS deposits, and then you can very clearly, you get a magnifying glass, you can find the payroll deposits. So I went through and counted every single deposit, which as I stated in the written response, only accounts for about half of it. So it appears that there's money being transferred from another account, and there's no testimony in the record about the source of that money.
For example, this I guess February statement. It shows $18,000 in deposits. You looking at that? Well, exhibit 3, I think it is. You see that?
No, which account, the savings account or the spending account, John?
This is a spending account.
Okay, that helps. Yes, sir, I see it.
Ms. Norman, do you see it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where are when you add those up, and it'd come up to $18,000 in deposits?
No, the deposit amounts.
The money that was deposited, the 2 months together come out to 30,000 and something.
I'm saying that the deposits, like she testified about the IRS tax refund. She testified about her.
That's on here.
Yes, and she testified about her salary, that she had her job and her payroll. And then there are some Visa transfers. And again, she had an $800 balance. But the testimony that she provided at the hearing amounted to $15,348.31 of the total $30,607.92 of deposits for the 2 months. And it appears that there are multiple transfers from a credit builder account. There was no testimony about the source of funds for that, but there are $30,000 worth of deposits in 2 months. We did not have testimony about the source of that $30,000.
And Your Honor, my only response to that would be, both of these women are relying on the deposits from the Internal Revenue Service. both of which exceed $5,000 each. So the $30,000 additional deposits, or maybe less the IRS deposit, I would submit to the court that that is irrelevant. That the $5,000 she's relying on came from the Internal Revenue Service, both of these.
But your point is that it appears it could be commingled funds, half of which is illegal.
Exactly. I mean, she testified to her income, what it was. She makes a wage as a security guard. She testified that her paycheck is reflected in these statements, and she testified about the 2 IRS tax payments. And she has twice as much money being deposited in addition to what she testified to. Because there's, the constant transfers from this credit builder account that are deposits.
What about the commingling argument?
Your Honor, I understand General Norman's argument there. I stand by the point I made earlier. Even if the funds are commingled, the $5,000 she's relying on came from the Internal Revenue Service.
Well, none of they're commingled. If she deposits $30,000 and half of it say it's for drug proceeds, and she just starts spending it and moving around the accounts and everything, we don't know which money's which.
Yes, sir, I understand. And
The argument could be easily made that she spent the legitimate money and kept the other money. It's a flip side of the same argument.
yes, sir. And if it would help the court, I do have both Ms. Crooks and Ms. Sloan on standby at Ms. Sloan's home, and I can send them a Zoom link if the court wants to hear.
Probably so. The other thing is, why do these statements look different?
Because one of those was a screenshot printout. The other one was the actual statement downloaded as a PDF. If that makes any sense to the board. That's about the extent of my knowledge of technology, too.
And would she now have her April statement?
Not yet, Your Honor. I asked that. I do have, again, screenshots that have been texted to me that show both accounts that we were talking about with the $5,000 balance in each.
Okay, so her April statement wouldn't come out until May.
Yes, that's correct, Judge.
And Your Honor, at the last hearing, I requested that they provide some documentation about the current balance as of today. I understand how statements work, but we have a screenshot that's already been submitted into the record. If that is sufficient for.
Yeah, I mean, would she not be able to pull up her phone, the account on her phone and show the balances on each of her?
I did, I said, give me a screenshot of like the detailed thing, like a statement, the detailed accounting. She said that it's not available to her. She sent me a screenshot of the balance available, and that's it,
Balance available as of when?
as of yesterday.
Do I have that?
You do not. It was texted to me. I can text, email it, or text it to someone to print it, if that's okay with
Have
you.
you gotten it?
No, Your Honor.
But she can't go in, and even though we can't get a statement for April, can she not go in and show the activities from April 1 to today's date?
My understanding is she could not. Of course, I did not look at her bank account and verify that because.
I mean, again, I don't know much about Chime, but I can go to my bank accounts anytime I want it. I mean, if I made a purchase this morning on the way into the office, and I got to the office and I looked at my bank activities, it's there.
Same with my account.
So, I mean, is she saying that Chime, you can't do that, you just gotta rely on the monthly statement?
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Because I do have some concerns about this unaccounted for $15,000.
Yes, sir.
So I guess we, need to make arrangements to beam them up at some point here. Want to try, can we do it now?
Sure, Your Honor, I can do the email again.
Let's get all that together and we'll get back to it. But do we have any announcements or quick hearings while we're getting them?
Ms. Rayer is not gonna be able to be here because she's having a problem with her dogs, her puppies. I told her you could just pick a trial day.
Yeah. Pick a trial day.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is your case, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just pick a trial day.
Thank you.
We'll make it work.
Okay, that's fine, Mr. Green. Green.
Jamie. Jamie Green. No.
Jamie Green.
You're the dirty girl.
Wait, what about that, I'm sorry?
Green's on page 1 of the.
All right. I thought we'd already dealt with him.
We did with the arraignment, remember, he has a probation violation on a 6 at 60 and an 1129. We would concede and put just the 1129 into effect at this point if we could.
Swear.
We get to raise your right hand, please, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
All right, Mr. Green, you have two probation violations on the docket today. One on the sentence of 11 months, 29 days in jail, and the other one a 6-year sentence of 60%. They run consecutive. It's my understanding you're going to agree that you violated the case 2019 C-1860 with the 1129 sentence. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're gonna put that sentence into effect, is that correct?
Yes.
Then all the other cases will be moved to September 2nd. Do you have any questions about any of that?
No.
Okay, you're gonna waive your right to hearing and accept that, agreement?
Yes.
Do you eventually violate your probation on 2019 C 1860?
Yes.
Court found violates probation on that case, same petition, place agreement into effect.
Page,
Good work, Mrs. Smith.
6. Mr. Davidson is here.
Mr. Davidson, how you doing, sir?
Doing good.
Any issues that we need to talk about?
No, sir. No.
Are you getting an itch to go into hiding or anything?
No.
I
No.
just want to make sure.
No. No, sir.
Has that been reset?
That's September 27th.
September 27th, you know that's the trial date, don't you?
Uh-huh.
All right, I tell you what we'll do is we will see you back here in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
May 6th.
May 6th, you won't have to come next week,
Okay.
but you will have to come back the week after that, Thursday, May 6th.
Thursday, May 6th, I'll be here.
Okay, I'll see you then.
All right.
Take care. Try to make it about 9 a.m. You didn't get here before 9, if you get here about 8:30, you won't have to get in and out in no time.
Okay.
Can you do it by Zoom?
So, I only know what that is.
Okay. Never mind. No woman knows.
Yeah, I'm working in.
Okay, they're here. While we're waiting, I'm waiting to get this.
Well, okay, 7, come on, where? Yeah, I wasn't there.
Here.
Good morning. So I'm sorry to remember all the information the affidavit's wrong, correct.
Should I turn this off?
exactly what she's capable of producing, and see if there's got the daily activities, and if so, I want her to send them to her.
Okay.
And then the court, and you and I can look at it. That's what I'm wanting, and also give you an opportunity to try and explain this $15,000 difference. Yes, Ms. Raymond.
Judge, on Mr. Sepa on the bottom of page 5,
Yes.
he is not here, but he was ROR'd, but he's homeless and speaks Somali. So I suspect he did not understand when he had to come back to court. And in any case, he has served over 7 months, day for day on this 6-month sentence. So would the court take an announcement that the sentence is satisfied in his absence?
Yeah, is there any dispute of that by the state?
No, Your Honor, his jail credit exceeds the length of the sentence.
Is he gonna get does he have some kind of bank that we deposit that in for his next violation?
I mean, I think that's a great approach. I'll just take a mental note and we'll address that when the time comes.
Oh, yeah, sure, we'll take it.
Thank you.
So it's,
It is 5. Yeah, page 5, bottom of page 5.
all right, so basically dismiss, terminate.
Yes, Ron. Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
I mean, if she's got, if she can show dailies, she ought to be able to text them, shouldn't she?
I mean, I have never heard of any account where you can't see recent activities.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't either, that's one reason I want her on.
He's kind of trying to rip.
No, that's when
Trying to rip. He can call me. Don't call me.
I thought that for 1 second when you said that. I was like, well, so fun.
I'm out.
You can call me.
Are you again? So I know what's about.
There's been a guy downstairs forced you picked up on isolation violation, official.
Okay.
Victorino Gonzalez.
Victory.
Victorino. His wife was there today, so they never had a chance to try to ask us.
Just text Mary. Is that okay?
Sure. She's in the waiting room.
She did say she got.
Yeah, good. Very good.
Oh, you come back here.
Because.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Bring back with him. When he comes back before I introduce you, you wanna address what y'all are.
Yeah, I mean, we're just, we'll try and get some explanation or on this unaccounted for $15,000 that got into her accounts and like, see whether or not she's got a running daily activity record that she can reference. If so, then want her to text it to you or somehow get it to you, and then I'll take a look at it all and see what's going on.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna, you can ask your questions if you want. Obviously, the state is trying to get to the bottom of this $15,000 that somehow or another got in there.
Yes, sir. I want to make the court aware as well that when I spoke with Ms. Courtney Sloan, I told her that if Mr. Sigsby was allowed to bond out, he would be on house arrest and could not even go to the grocery store. I used those words like you did, Your Honor, and she understood.
Okay. Let's try to get this money thing clear or whatever.
You have to talk into that to see it.
Microphone.
Can you, Steve, can you clear the screen because it's got yellow?
Your Honor, just to be clear, we want to hear from Ms. Crooks.
Yeah, that's
Is that right?
The chime account is the one, right?
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Hi there, Ms. Crooks, can you hear us?
I swear her in. Ms.
Okay.
Brooks, if I get you raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Great, okay, you can put your hand back down. You're Miss Chelsea Crooks, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you testified a couple weeks ago about some money in your chime accounts, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and the DA is going to ask you some more detailed questions about that. Do you happen to have your account statements with you that you had last time? I'm sorry, you broke up. What did you say?
Yes, I have them.
Okay, wonderful. So can you look at your February account statement for your spending account?
Okay, hold on. It's on, that one's on my phone. I'm gonna have to pull that one up.
Okay.
You said the February spending account?
Yes, ma'am. February spending.
Okay, I have it.
All right, do you see the deposits there? $18,544 and some change?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the DA is probably gonna ask you very detailed questions about where that deposit came from, where the money came from, okay?
Okay.
So keep that account statement available.
Okay.
Because she's gonna ask you probably line item questions about that, okay? Now, do you have your March account statement for spending account available? Okay, you do. Do you see where it says deposits of $12,063.52? It's on the first page of the March spending account statement.
Oh, hold on, I'm at savings. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Sure. You might have to go back and forth between those in a minute anyway.
Okay, say I need the March spending.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I see where it's 12,000.
Okay, you see that deposit amount there for the month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, make sure you have that statement available too, because the DA is going to ask you some questions about specifically where that money comes from and which deposits were from where, okay? Now I've got one more question for you, and I may have misunderstood this when I spoke with y'all yesterday. Are you able to see your account statement for April, like the line items, like what you've spent since April 1st?
No.
Okay, so they don't give you any itemization at all until you get your account statement. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. The judge was asking about that, and I wanted to be sure to cover that with you. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have any questions. Like I said, General Norman's going to ask you about the deposits, so make sure you have your statements available so you can answer her questions, okay?
Ms. Crooks, before we get into talking about the statements you've already provided, are you saying that, and you have a Chime app, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you go into your app right now?
Yes.
And does it show you your activity?
Yes, it shows my activity.
Okay, so you can see what your recent transactions are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the balance today on your Chime spending account?
$280.
I'm sorry?
$280.86.
Okay. And what's the balance on your Chime savings account?
$5,010.02.
Okay. And so you can sit there and look at each transaction that's occurred from today all the way back through the end of March. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how to take screenshots with your phone?
Yes.
So it's possible that you could take screenshots of that activity and then send those screenshots.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll want her to do that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Clearly, General
Do you
Norman
want to question these other things that, and then get those screenshots and maybe have to get her back on?
Right, I mean, that's the thing.
Or do you just want?
I can ask her some questions now and
Why don't we,
obviously
get the
probably,
screenshots, that way when we, make the screenshots of your activities from April 1 to the present. And get that to Miss Stacy, and then we'll make copies of it. And then you can start your, have an opportunity to look at it, and then you can pick up your questioning for the almost 3-month period.
okay. And I'm kind of assuming that Miss Sloan's also there.
Is Miss Sloan with you?
Yes.
I had one question for her that I feel like is relevant that wasn't asked last time.
All right, put Miss Sloan in front of the camera for a minute, please. While you're getting the screenshots to us, I need to swear her in, and there's some questions that need to be asked of her real quick, okay?
The screenshots to what date, for what date does she have to get?
April 1 to the present.
For both
April
accounts.
1st to the present.
For both accounts, savings and spending.
From savings and spending. Okay.
All right. Now, if I can swear you in, you raise your right hand.
Yes,
You
sir.
solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right. You can stand down.
Miss Sloan, when you were here on April 8th, or I guess here by Zoom on April 8th, you testified that you lived at 517 Summer Place.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that MDHA housing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do they have rules about who is permitted to live with you in your residence?
Not that I know of. I don't think so. I just moved here. It's my first time ever being in MDHA property.
Okay. Well, it's been my previous experience that you have to make a request to the leasing office to have another person live in your residence that's not listed on your lease.
Right.
And that many times there are prohibitions to who would qualify.
Right. And I've mentioned something about my fiance, well, my boyfriend coming to stay with me, but I never, because this has never been set in stone till like now, and I'm not for sure if he's going to be able to be let out or what, so I didn't consult her.
What, are you aware that Mr. Sigsby is a convicted felon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's one of the issues that sometimes creates a prohibition on the building allowing that person to be added to your lease.
Right.
But okay, thank you, Ms. Sloan. That was my question.
Okay. Do you want me to?
May I speak with her on here and ask her to text me the screenshots?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The screenshots.
Miss Sloan?
Yes.
Hey there. Hey there. If you could get those screenshots from Ms. Crooks and get them texted to me, that way we can use them, and we may need you to come back. No, we will need you to come back by Zoom so that General Norman can talk with Ms. Crooks again.
Okay, so hang up, then send you the screenshots, and then you can get back on the camera, or she gets back on the camera.
We'll text you when they get back, sign back on.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Wait a
thank you.
minute. Ms. Smith, they need to just go into a room and wait.
Just a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the waiting room.
We're just gonna put you in the waiting room, and then we'll get, reconnect you when we're ready, after we get that part.
Oh, sorry.
Oops.
For work.
I'm sorry.
I'll text her.
She's still there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna put you in the waiting room, so we'll put you in the waiting room for right now. And then we'll reach back out to you when we wanna get you back on the camera, okay?
Okay.
All right, so.
All right, we'll see you in just a
We'll do that,
minute.
and we'll be in touch. Just
Yes.
hang tight.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
On page 8, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you can step up, please.
Call the motion on that.
Your Honor, subject to the court's approval, Mr. Johnson's case is going to be.
I've spoken with the victim on the case today, and I spoke to her a couple days ago. She works third shift, and based upon that, she was asked if the state retire the case.
Okay. Be retired. Mr. Johnson, your obligations to the court have been satisfied. You understand that if you do something stupid, this case can be brought back and reactivated. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay, so just don't get in any more trouble. Stay away from this woman or whatever. I don't know what the situation is, but if you're not staying away from her, don't do anything to cause her to call the police again. Otherwise, this case is gonna come back with your new one. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You're free to go.
If you have any issues, just in the pocket.
All right, next.
A bass is supposed to be for plea. I don't know when we stop turning in plea petitions before court, but we're fixing to send out another email, I guess.
Harris trial, what about Ivory?
That's for Gary. I haven't seen you in.
What about Greg too?
No. I got like a trial on it for a year.
Phase 1, day 3rd.
Oh, we did hear.
We did?
But you don't have control over whether or not you
Gregory was moved to 520. Yes.
5
Yeah. I'm not gonna
Actually, 21. I'm sorry.
What about Ali Cozar?
6-2 for play.
What about, Dennis Vessel, correct?
That was the
No.
one about the money, we don't know.
We're still trying to get information on that one.
Do we have a trial date on Garner?
That's why I'm standing here. I was looking for his page.
Page 8.
And Mr. Allensworth is here too, and Ms. Norman, who are also parties. I was recently appointed judge, I think you know that. I have not yet, but I expect soon to receive materials from Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Allensworth shared some of the things he could with me, and so I have an idea. Here's kind of where we are, and I don't know, I don't think the state's gonna like this, maybe the court won't either. It's gonna be voluminous, and it appears that experts may be needed, and could take me maybe a year or two to be certain that I'm ready. Well, here's what I see the look on your face. Here's what I don't want to do is tell you, okay, we can do it this date. And then come September, I'm like, I thought we could, but we can't, and I'm sorry. Or experts that I may need are unavailable at those times. But it appears to be a voluminous is the only word I can think of.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of juvenile proceedings, I think, as part of it. Then I suspect that there's a lot of other investigative materials, but.
I mean, it is somewhat voluminous, but there are transcripts of everything. It is not anything out of the ordinary in that respect. I think, I mean, I'm asking that it be set October 25th for trial. This case has been pending, I think it's been 4 years.
Yeah, that's been a long time.
And I'm not as familiar with the prior proceedings, but it's definitely not Philip Gardner's fault that his attorney is moving out of the country.
No, I know it's not.
I don't know of any issues I don't know how long he's been on bond. I don't know of any issues since he's been on
I
bond.
haven't had any issues with him a while on bond. But it is an old case.
It's also not fair to Mr. Gardner or I guess my other clients to schedule trials in succession with each other and say, Mr. Gardner, I'd love to meet with you, but I'm in a different trial. So when I pick a day, I want to pick a day that I can say, yes, by this day, I will definitely be here and be ready. Instead of come back in a few months and say, Judge, I know we picked this day, but I've decided to go in a different direction than what Mr. Cunningham's notes had said, and it's going to require this expert or this other information. And again, I don't have anything from Mr. Cunningham to know how likely that is to happen, but I want to pick a day that it will happen on that day.
Judge, the state's position is that 6 months is plenty of time to be prepared for a jury trial. It could be done in less time.
I would just say that this case is extremely complex, and I think the idea that a defense lawyer would be ready in 6 months in this case is absurd.
Give me a date in March, but whatever date's picked, it's going to trial on that in March.
Pick one for us if there's one that is completely available.
I'm not gonna change it, so everybody get ready and you better check with your experts before you even bring them on board about.
Right. Well, and that's what I wanted to, what I've been getting at.
Get a different, I'm not gonna, once I put down the March date, it's going. That day.
And Judge, that's why I suggested so much time.
I don't have anything set in March yet. I do have, I think that second week of March, I have to be at a conference.
I'm trying to give you some room from the other case.
Is March 22 enough? So there's, the Mondays in March are 1, 8, 15, 22, and 29.
They're 7, 14, 21, and 28.
I'm looking at this year.
We're not gonna set it on the 7th because that's probably judicial conference. And that's when you have a conference. So I would suggest.
Is your conference March 7th?
I don't know when April, I don't know when Easter is either.
March 7th or 14th is the conference.
I don't know.
I don't really care, because I'm not going to.
Well, you
me
may not
neither.
be going, but we don't have jury stuff.
We can get there.
You're making this retirement a whole lot quicker than you think it is.
If we go March 28th, that separates it at least from 2, maybe 3 weeks from where we think the conference is then.
My only question is, when is Easter?
I think it appears to be in April. Because I got Palm Sunday, which is a week before Easter, is April 10.
Yeah.
So it looks like the
So it is the,
17th. It looks like Easter. Of April. So it'd give us a few weeks before Easter.
It will not be continued.
What?
I'm sorry, my conference, I believe, is the week of March 7th.
Does that make March 28th an okay date?
I could also do the 21st.
March 21st.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna check with my expert. For that works.
Is that something are you texting right now?
yeah, 5:13 is when he's supposed to be. Mr. Gardner.
And Judge, I'm not sure if you heard, Mr. Allensworth is sending a message to his expert right now.
Tell them to redo their schedule.
February 17th. Nobody, all kinds of stuff. Okay.
March 21st?
March 21st.
February 17th will be a status right before it, but I'm sure y'all will have more stuff, so we'll just set it whenever you have.
That'd be great. All right, thank you.
You're on 5:13 to meet Mr. Garber. He's supposed to be here.
So I've spoken with him already, and I was just gonna have him come to the office. I don't know if I'm
We'll take
going.
it off 13th.
Remember, can we have a date so that we can track the defense expert report?
Yeah, what's the,
Talking about that, he, want to set some time in June? Could be fun.
June 8th.
to have the report?
That would be my call, I'm gonna give him a call on that.
You'll be here on the 7th for Rutledge Jam, so it may go into Tuesday, I don't know.
You know, I'm
I don't
sorry,
know what.
I'm actually out of town that day,
The what, June 8th?
June 8th. How about, is there a day, the week of the 14th, that would work with you?
No, that's judicial conference.
Okay.
We do it the week before?
I'm gonna be out that week as well. What about the week of the 21st?
24th.
June 24th, have the report ready to go by then. And, I guess, Mr. McGregor, by that same date, you should have had if you're gonna get a different expert or whatever the case may be, have that person identified and on board, and maybe not the report by then, but by then we all be able to get an idea of when his or her report will be available.
Yes, sir.
All right, anything else at the moment?
Do you have a date on Harris, Jan?
No, I need to.
You wanna put that one in the October slot?
We have
Huh?
we have 2 felony murders on
Oh, that day?
October 25th also.
I have a drill set that day, but I was gonna make somebody else on my team do it.
Well,
Cause it wasn't set here.
just pick a date.
You pick a date and I'll give her the date and say this is the date.
It's not subject to continuance. We gotta lock that one in.
He's just wanting to do his time in local jail.
We should almost have it done, should
I've offered things that should make people happy.
You gotta come to court in order to. Okay, you're emailing me something?
Yes, I have one account. I'm getting there, taking.
Okay, where's Kevin Kelly? I'll check.
Okay, what else do we have? Haven't had you in this courtroom for this amount of time, in a long time.
This is a jail document.
This is jail, almost, isn't it?
He's not even talking yet.
What about Verdell Williams?
He went to July. 22nd. Kevin Kelly.
Can I ask a question on that? Sean McKinney is on that Verdell Williams motion to trial, is that right? And Smith? On Verdell?
That's what y'all said in that.
Okay. And is he gonna file something new? He's filing a motion to trial. Is he planning on filing another?
My understanding is yes, he's
Okay.
gonna file something new.
Okay.
The ivory is still tender.
I guess. Lady asked me if he had a new warrant that Stephanie had. I said, Metro Police didn't have it. She said Stephanie had it, and then I don't know what.
And then everybody left,
Everybody left.
like I'm about to.
You and me both. Do you have something? What do you what do you don't have anything on the docket, so I'm sure.
Bug Judge, because I interviewed a few of his students in the last little bit on a summer internship thing that has nothing to do with court, so I was gonna wait incredibly patiently.
What you got?
What do you got?
Oh, I just, was curious what your thoughts on some of your own students were, if you didn't mind me asking, because.
Got anybody in particular?
Well, there was a Miss Kerr and a Miss Neal who seemed interesting, though at varying levels of, everyone just says the exact same thing. Everyone says, oh, I really want to do criminal defense, and that's terrifying. Why would I be on YouTube?
Because the courtroom's plugged into YouTube. Why don't you send me an email?
I'll shoot you an email, Your Honor.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah. Thank you. I wasn't gonna say anything mean if it makes life easier.
I just didn't know what you're doing.
One of them may have mentioned to me that they had spoken to you, but didn't really say anything else.
I'll shoot you an email, Your Honor.
Do that, you gotta let me know what you're looking for in your candidate, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I understand that part of it would be, an interest in criminal defense law, obviously.
Oh, yeah, good thing to find. Thank you.
And thank you.
They can't see
They
them.
had difficult jobs, Steve.
I got the second one, I sent it now, Julie.
You were going to say,
I got the second one.
I'm not sure they wanted to be critiqued on YouTube.
The first page was just.
I know, I know.
What did he say?
He didn't get there, but he was gonna say probably nice things, but. Don't worry.
It's not a difficult job.
No, I didn't know if she had heard of that.
Say it. No. Bass vested Ivory.
Did you really want to see that time what's going on?
No, you don't have to. They-
Discussion.
Now you wander out all the time, I look for you, you're gone, there the door opens.
Am I still processing, like, really supposed to be here?
They were supposed to be here, so we're not doing anything. If you don't show up, we still don't have that paper.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jan, in the middle of that is a printout for the savings account balance. I'm getting the itemized printed right now.
Okay.
The rest of it is the spending account, just so you know.
Oh.
Why? Why? Couldn't do it.
Steve had to ask me who gets what.
Oh,
wow.
I did, I asked, but I'm not even, I did.
Why? Why? What are you doing?
You look like you dreamt of coming around the corner. You haven't seen Stonewall Hudson, have you, Michael? Okay.
Try to pick up that big old lady, you should go lock down.
Yeah, I'm sorry, walking hours.
Oh, good, thanks, dog.
Thank you so much.
Hey, I've eaten many of them in my life.
Very much.
Yeah, I'm big, I eat many of them. Oh, you talking about inmate sandwiches?
We'll make it.
Oh, no, I'm okay with this. I'm about to say, I've eaten many inmates.
David seems to be a little sore.
Like,
I'm not sure.
Well, that's when I started, their favorite meat was pickle. And I could do that. Yeah, but you should bring around like a card that had
Oh,
cold.
no, we got a flyer Wednesday.
So what I will do is I'll get one piece of bread, about 4 pieces of cheese. Take it. And I put them in the toaster, like grilled cheese.
Inmate sandwiches.
Yeah, it's overcome. Hey, I can make all kind of inmate food, so. Take hot Cheetos, crunch it down, put them on top of a honey butter, you got your spicy, you got your sweet.
Water bottle.
Put a little queso in it.
Hey, well, we don't have that.
Thank you, Green. You some little things.
That don't have nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. I can't do little things right now.
Yeah.
No, we're back, working out pretty hard, so. Well, I would hate for me to be on TV getting beat up.
How about a moon pie and RC cola?
You got street meetings.
I've retired my street meetings.
You do. No.
Julian, you've had a moon pie and RC cola today.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you what my godfather used to do,
Oh.
RC cola and peanut.
Peanuts in it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Put the peanuts in the RC cola. Drop that in.
My daddy would do it with Dr. Pepper.
When I would go over, my godfather owned the record service on Oak Ridge Boulevard.
Yeah.
And I would go over there, and I always do, he had one of those little Coke machines. Open the door, you pull the bottle out, little bottles. The last one, the bottom one closest to the ground, because I was real back and it was mine. You didn't have to put money in it to get that one. And all his customers, he told him, you can't have the last one, that's mine. So, came back and put money into it up there, pulled them out, said, give me one more. Give him one, I get packed peanuts, open it up, put it in there. I'm sure I know that too, I don't remember that. Ooh, this is chill times.
Hey, Julian,
Yeah.
this is not, this printout isn't showing everything on the search.
I don't know. All I do is print off what you tell me. I don't know why.
Somebody has to sign off, this is like the right amount of money going in the wrong place, and I, you guys are not sure.
You know, no.
This is the screenshot of the statement transaction. Printout.
This is obviously, that was
Regularly first. Date, I want you to see.
Let me see. Wow.
That's the state, yeah,
Same as. Who is this?
Good, how you?
I think just like it's like and the March 23rd.
Wait a minute. Didn't you just tell me you worked that?
I'm looking at it, you just
What you got?
week papers.
Some chips. Other good for you. There's no.
You know,
North, I got it even. There you go. You know, Mr. Turkey, I am, but. We'll go back to working out of the house, pretty good.
Is Kevin even responding to anything?
No, he said that dude's fixing to go back and not come back for a while.
It's really weird.
I need a date.
June to I don't think she heard from
Oh, it's might not ever be.
I don't think she heard.
So you want to, I'll come back whenever it's starts doing. Everybody, yeah. I'll be back. You know, flowers. Does it go? I'm sorry, but yeah, you can. Does it not go to the next page? Does it not go to the next page?
No.
Okay, I got that. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So you know what it should in the future.
It looks like the spending went printed correctly.
It what?
So it look, I'm sorry, it looks like the spending account printed correctly.
Okay, it's just a save.
I think so, yes.
Okay, that's the one I just redid.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you.
When you get the new document?
Building on site now. So,
Alright. Is your new dock gonna have a roof on it?
Yep.
Thank you. Just use some fishing line. Buy some seaweed storage here. Fishing line, keep birds from pushing. And keep-
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here you go.
That's got the whole one, the other one didn't print off right.
That's good.
Look at this crane, basically lives.
So, no.
signing the paperwork now.
Okay.
Nobody can really.
Didn't make it out.
Sammy, here's your warrant. Here's your warrant. Thanks.
Yeah, she decided to take my own order and like her personal notes when she tries to defraud her insurance company. She got to do that, that's right. So the investigator called me and said, you look at this, this is just.
I'm curious with me because they didn't tell me what they're doing. Because they get the memo, they make sure it's correct. But they give us the different. So that's your problem. Yeah, I would call it just.
Doctor.
There's a guy who can't really get a
Grocery shop.
and they don't let him ask Buffalo about it.
And so then she.
Buffalo
they were like,
about
"What's my name? It's not gonna work."
He jumped out and I had part of the piece and said, I'm not so happy, don't hurt you. Really told me, because we were like in a meeting when they found out. And I was like, can I write the warrant? Or should like,
I just came up with the 6th. I didn't know if it had anything to do with maybe,
Yeah.
This officer knows the word, and I'm like, all right. All right. Now, when it was for that girl. Did I get off?
Yeah, I sent her to Christine.
But,
Yeah. Well, if you need to.
because it wasn't really coming, I just couldn't stop with that. He just jumped out. I'm not going, like, ooh, are you?
Yeah. Get over segment.
Yeah, I haven't told no about it.
And all that for.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Usually just for like 5 minutes.
Man, I mean, somebody's got a warrant, like, you can write the warrant, so, give you a warrant. What is it plated to? Do you want both of them, or one of them, or what?
He's pleading to both of them. He's pleading to 4 ag assaults.
I don't know, I just didn't know if he's pleading to both
Oh, he's
cases.
pleading to both.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know anything about Ivory? Is that still open?
I think it is. You know, he waits to the court date to get assessed for mental health. But they probably aren't working every day, so probably not. Go here. That's an hour and a half drive. What do you look at it?
And Gunner's gonna keep you rolling.
Yeah.
What?
Weird. And then you got the 10 little girls. Like, didn't matter how you guys want to just drop on it. And you see for while or sit on top of your. Y'all let me know when you're ready.
I just noticed on the spending account, it only goes through April 16th. It is now the 21st. We need 5 more days. So I'm working on that.
Okay. Do you want to tell her that?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
You can tell her on the, up there on the thing if you want to.
Oh, is she on it?
Yep.
Awesome. That would be easy. Hey there, can you hear me? Can y'all?
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, what we got from the spending account goes through April 16th. It doesn't go through today. That screenshot may not have sent, but if you could resend it, just the screenshot from the 16th of April through today. That's all we're missing right now.
April 1st or
You were breaking up bad. I couldn't hear you.
so which
It's the spending account, April 16th through April 21st.
April 16th to the 21st. You need the whole thing? I swear I sent them to you.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. If that screenshot may not have sent, if you just resend April 16th through the 21st, that's all we need.
16th through the 21st?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 22nd. Today's the 22nd. I apologize. Through this morning. We're getting his stuff. He's back in his office, I think. It's been weird.
It only shows her, because she hasn't seen anything, so on her spending account, it only shows from the 1st of April to the 16th and today.
Okay, so nothing has been spent since the 16th. Is that accurate?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
I could see it, but.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. All right.
I'm sorry.
Is it just, the records only go through the 16th?
Oh, I gotcha. That makes sense.
She
Okay.
spent money, but I mean.
That makes sense. All right. Okay, I understand. All right, we're going to put you back in a waiting room until Judge gets back out here, okay?
I guarantee you, if she's going to Burger King and everything else every day, she's spending money.
No, I agree. That's just,
Place that.
that's why I was confused.
And stop, you know, a couple of days.
I've got them judged, but it was the ag assault, the review stuff. Yeah, but there were 5 ag assaults, one of them carried this, 2 carried 7. There were 6. It was 6. He's pleading 4. He's pleading all 6. He's pleading 4. 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 counts. Got all 630. Expensive. Got it. 11, 29. The misdemeanor. Exactly. The kicker. Is that your understanding is that a 6-year, 11-month, 29 days? It is not. Oh, interesting. Because I thought that it was a misdemeanor. So it's 6. If it was, I got to look to serve. But I've never had that. Which I think is bullshit. Yeah, my understanding. I mean,
I've had Metro Insurance for 30 years, and I've had my kids on there.
So I got another case right now.
Or it's 24,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden you prove he's
Right.
Yeah, and you wanna know the kicker? It's not even through Metro, it's through a third party I had to send this information to, so what are they gonna do when they get my information?
And what are they doing?
Yeah, Metro hired us. You ain't got time for your employees to do it during COVID. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ain't that much going on.
Metro, yeah.
Look, because it was easier to sub it out as to have their employees do it. Some insurance companies, some law firm did.
They're gonna spend money, spend it on their employees.
Yeah.
They'll work harder for you.
Buddy of mine, he worked at the sheriff's office, he called over, touched everybody out. It's nice and shit, cancel my insurance if you want to.
Sorry, that's funny. I like him. You're not getting my personal information.
He said, you got the birth certificate where he was born, right? This Metro, yes. That's all you need. From the time he was born to the time he turned 6, he ain't not been my child.
Right?
Wait, where the rest of mine?
Here we go. Shit, insurance company, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Are y'all ready on this? Can we finish this? No, not you.
Oh.
Y'all know, I've been waiting for you all day, no. We're on this hearing right now, we're gonna finish it up.
I wish you would have taken my place upstairs in Division 3.
To the next.
Did you point that out? Oh my God. She doesn't even- All right, I think these are right.
I'm freezing.
Thanks, sir. You.
Thanks, sir. Please remain seated, come to order, court is back in session.
Is this the updates?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if it helps, I put the spending account in order by date, because I don't think, they didn't text it to me in order, so I don't think you printed in order. If you would like this one, I'd be happy to provide that to you and take that one, whichever's easiest for you.
Wait a minute, I didn't realize it.
$30 for groceries at Walmart?
Is it for groceries?
What is this?
That could just be because it's Walmart and the app categorizing it that way. Walmart sells a lot of things.
That is one thing General Norman and I agree with.
Just let me know when you're ready to receive. Can you say that? We got it more than
You ready to admit her back in?
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right, Ms. Crook, please remember that you're still under oath. All right.
Ms. Crooks, after the last hearing, I went through the statements that you provided, and your February 2021 statement showed that you had $6,550 of deposits from Credit Builder.
Yes.
What is the source of that income?
February. I don't know. Let me see. February. Is that how much I spent? That's $50.
No, I'm saying those are the deposits. Where does the money come from initially that goes into your Credit Builder account?
My job. It all deposits my spending.
You're breaking up.
It by itself into my
Ma'am, you're breaking up. We're not hearing 90% of what you say.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. It deposits it on my spending account, and then it automatically takes it and put it in my credit account.
Okay, and I know you were trying to say that transfers were confusing last time. Let me ask you this. So I went through your statements that you provided, and it showed that you had $1,174.14 in payroll for those 2 months.
Yes.
That was your money that you made from your job.
Yes.
You had a $9,530 IRS tax refund.
Yes.
And then you had the $4,200 stimulus check in February.
Mm-hmm.
You also had deposits of $444.17 in Visa transfers.
Yeah, from my fiance. He sent me some money from his stimulus check.
Okay. And the total of all of that money is $15,348.31.
Yes.
Okay. And that's for the 2 months. You deposited $30,607.92 during those 2 months. And it was approximately $13,000 worth of transfers from a Credit Builder account. So, but we're missing about $15,000 of income.
Probably from having money sent to me from family and my fiance, but all of it shows on there where everything came from, the IRS, the stimulus, and me working. All that is from everything. I don't even. When y'all told me to that, I was shocked myself. I was like, oh wow, but it shows where everything came from.
Okay, so you're not really certain where that money came from.
It was just from the IRS with me working in stimulus and me money. Yeah, That's all, that's,
Let me ask you, in looking at your February statement, you show a deposit, a transfer from Credit Builder on February 26th of 2021 in the amount, and this is on your spending account, in the amount of $3,500.
I'm pulling it up.
Page 2 of 6.
It's on your phone too. February. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm February spending. Is it, you said, or Credit Builder?
Yeah, on February 26th, there was a transfer from Credit Builder and deposited into your spending account in the amount of $3,500.
What page did the last page. This one. That one?
This is.
Yeah, I see it.
What does that $3,500 represent? Because it's not an electronic transfer from the IRS.
Yeah, I think it came from my stimulus check, if I'm not mistaken. But I got it all sent to me. I just my card, so I have it.
You're breaking up badly.
Yeah, I said I switched. I think that came from my stimulus check, and I put it in my credit card, on my credit account. That's switch it back in my account.
Do we have the records for the credit?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. I'm happy to provide those. I said that last time. I'm happy to.
There's a lot of money going back and forth between these accounts.
This is the original.
You're gonna need some time to review these and reconcile, aren't you?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm doing my best, but.
No, I understand. Can we, say we got Monday? Can we do this Monday?
Oh.
I mean, if it's a bad day, we'll pick another one. That's the only day I got next week is we're moving. I'm gonna, I'd much rather be here than moving, but.
You're moving?
Are we done?
No, don't hang up yet. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing.
I have a source hearing in Division 3 on Monday.
Well, I mean, we got other things.
Monday works fine for my calendar.
Which I think the way that Division 3 works, if we, and I'm not trying to impose on the court, I know the court has many other things to do, but they will start at approximately 10 o'clock. I don't know if it's possible to do this.
We can do this first thing. Yeah.
I hope we can, yes.
Yeah, we can set to do this at 8:30 or 9 if you want.
That's fine with you.
8:30 or 9.
I would prefer 9.
Okay, and Holly will be able to set that up. We'll need to do all that. And, can you also have her screenshot or whatever the daily activities for this account, just like she did on the other two accounts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Or this Credit Builder? I'm still trying to figure out how Chime works.
I understand. And Your Honor, if it helps, the Credit Builder account is a credit card. So that helps her build her credit up, if that helps at all to explain.
I mean, I can understand that concept, but I don't understand the continuing transfer of monies back and forth. That's what I'm having a hard time comprehending. And I need to know I need to be able to reconcile, again, there's $15,000 that's hasn't been described yet.
Yes.
And, I don't know,
I
don't know if that can be reconciled if we have all of the accounts, but it may help, so.
And Your Honor, I will speak with them and try to pin that down.
Yeah, listen, we'll do it, I'll be here Monday morning, we'll get it done.
Your Honor, I have a request for Ms. Sloan to provide a current balance of her account.
Can you do that, Ms. Sloan?
I sent it to Miss Marie.
She sent me yes, there's a screenshot of the balance, but not like the daily activity.
Yeah, can you get us, can you send that, the daily activity
Like we did for
log,
Chelsea's.
like y'all just did on the chime accounts?
Well, yeah,
Can
her
you do
time, mine's a prepaid card, but I can show like my, when I show my transactions, it won't show what's on the card unless I go back to the card and it says Emerald and it only shows me the last four of my card number and it says my name on it and it says deposit.
But does it show can you,
yeah, it shows the how much is in there.
does it show the daily activities?
Yeah, there was none because I haven't did nothing with that card, but yeah, it shows it.
Well, send us whatever you can for the month of April.
Okay.
Okay, the current balance, and if it shows any activities, include that. If you haven't had any, then you haven't had any, but if you have, I want to see those as well.
Okay.
To get them up to date, so if you can get that to Miss Stacy, and then y'all need to be available again on Monday, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well, hopefully we'll be able to get to the bottom of this and get it straightened out.
Yes, Your Honor. And Ms. Sloan, I'll call you in just a moment.
I guess these need to be made exhibits. And we have this exhibit list, it's a continuation of the same thing. On source area, so I guess you can just add them to that.
And that previous information to this.
Yeah, some of those are already exhibits, February, March, it's just the stuff that was sent today. Needs to be added as exhibits. February, March statements have already been made exhibits. So just the daily activities going forward. What are we doing now?
We have an arraignment from Ms. Coleman, has someone that was supposed to be here yesterday. And he has, Ms. Coleman.
Yes.
You want to do this now, or you want to wait after this place?
No, it's okay, we can do it now. He's outside, Your Honor. Antonio, he thought that his court date was the 26th or the 28th. So that's why he wasn't here yesterday.
You know, it's already been appointed on another case.
Yes.
Do we have the paperwork? We invite.
So we can go ahead and arrange and get this going.
Come on up here, sir.
Thanks. Your Honor, on behalf of Antonio Hudson, I am in receipt of 2021 A384 and 2021 A95. We plead not guilty to all the charges therein and waive formal reading. And Mr. Antonio's birthday is what?
0809. 0809, 1993.
And what are the last four of your social?
8564.
And I would assume it's General Hunter for all of them, but I'm not positive. So.
Yeah, what's the date?
October 27th.
October 27th.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay.
All right.
And there was a KPS.
Withdraw or recall it.
All right, thank you.
Obviously, it had been served with.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, you raise your right hand, please, sir. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes. Well, look at this.
I'm doing that.
Okay. Judge, you've been on stage by your court officer. Ms. Smith?
Oh, yeah.
She's who brings me here.
Uh-oh. How are you enjoying your new career?
Well, I'll tell you after I get the ruling from the judge on today's hearing. No, we had a hearing across the street, finished it, so I was in the neighborhood, want to say hello. No? You get the elbow.
What is it, an appeal or something?
Your Honor, I'm working with the board now.
Yeah, I know it, so what was the hearing over?
It's an appeal, yes, it's an appeal from the hearing panel.
All right.
Yes, sir, so, I can only torment lawyers now, not, anybody else. Anyway, but, I just want to say how you're number one, well, my number one. I'm not going to.
No, mine too, don't try and put me behind the eight ball.
But, with an assist, Mr. Blackmore, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, how are you?
All. But anyway, thanks for, giving me a moment, Judge, appreciate it.
You getting settled in?
I know docket's not through. Been there 8 weeks, Your Honor, 8 weeks, so.
Getting settled in?
I got a calendar with deadlines, Your Honor. That's how this works, you know? You get cases and they have court dates and deadlines but it's a lot more briefs and appeals is what I'm doing mostly. So, an interesting situation.
Yeah, I bet it is.
But the good thing about it, Your Honor, I can't talk about any of my cases. It's completely confidential. So I can't, no matter who I'm with, I can't tell them.
You can't talk shop.
It's like being the CIA. So it's different. That's not the way it works around here. But anyway.
Everything here is open game.
I know. I like your panels. They were, the plexiglass panels.
Yeah, they're bulletproof.
Real glass. Well, yeah, it is. Y'all are uptown. I'll tell you, we invented that in Robertson County. I know we had jury trials last year in Robertson County using we had the jury box with the screened in witness who, surrounded by the
glass.
It was cellophane. It was more cellophane than glass, but anyway, it was a barrier. It was a barrier and it had to be wiped down between every witness. But that way.
What about your jury?
We had a very large courtroom, so we could socially distance the jury by extending the jury box back into the gallery. And they went about 2 rows back into the gallery to maintain the 6 feet of social distancing. But
you had some of them behind you?
We're on the sides. We're like, the tables are like over there and over here.
Oh, okay.
And the jury is where General Ewald is, up there. But, Judge Goodman, he could tell you all about it, because he did one of the trials.
I'll have to talk to Bill and see.
But, he always speaks highly of you, Your Honor.
Oh, I like Bill, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he feels the same about you.
So, it was great to see you.
Well, I know I'm interrupting the docket, which is, not normal, but anyway, I will only say this, Your Honor, it takes an effort to get in the building, and I want you to know I made the effort.
Yeah.
I don't have any of my, badges anymore, so.
Yeah, they don't,
I'm just a member of the public now.
they're not as loose as Springfield.
Not at all. All right, well, listen, it's good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you, Jim.
Okay.
Take care.
Hey, Brian.
Good to see you.
All right, Mr. Bass, I have before me petitions to enter pleas of guilty in your case. I need to ask you some questions regarding your decision to enter the pleas of guilty, as well as some questions regarding the rights that you have as a criminal defendant. Most of the questions I will ask you will require you to give a yes or no answer. It's very important that you verbalize the word yes or no. I cannot accept any ahas, nodding, or shaking of your head. I need to have a clear record of what your response is. Also, if I ask you a question that you do not understand, you need to let me know that. I'll rephrase the question until such time as we have a clear understanding with each other. And finally, if for any reason you need to speak to your attorney during the course of these proceedings, let me know that. I'll stop the proceedings, give you an opportunity to have those discussions before we proceed any further. Do you understand the rules I just went over, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand you just taking a note to tell the truth? And if for any reason you should answer my questions falsely, or any questions asked of you by the district attorney general falsely, while in open court in the presence of your lawyer, you could be subjecting yourself to the possibility of being prosecuted for perjury.
Yes, sir.
How far did you go to school, sir?
My senior year.
Are you able to read and write?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently taking any medications, whether they be prescribed, over the counter, or otherwise?
No, sir.
Have you consumed any type of alcoholic beverage or other intoxicant within the last 24 hours?
No, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed as suffering from any type of mental illness or other mental disorder?
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
PTSD.
PTSD?
Yeah, explosive disorder. That's the only thing I can remember.
Were you ever on medications for those?
Yeah, I had some, but I didn't take them.
So you never taken the medications?
Yeah, never took.
The fact that you have, were not taking medications for those conditions, is that causing you any difficulty in understanding why you're here and what you're doing?
No, sir.
Is there any reason that you can think of that you would not be able to fully understand and appreciate what it is you're doing here today?
No, sir.
You submitted to the court a petition to enter a plea of guilty in a case which appears to have been signed by you. Did you in fact sign the petition?
Yes, sir.
Before signing the petition, did you have an opportunity to either read the petition in its entirety or have your attorney read it to you?
Yes, sir.
During the time that you were reading the petition or your attorney was reading it to you, to the extent that you had any questions, did your attorney satisfactorily answer those questions?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you fully and completely understand the contents of the petition as you sit here today?
Yes, sir.
The charge in case 2020-A-499 was simple possession of controlled substance, unlawful possession of a weapon, and possession of drug paraphernalia, 2 counts of simple possession of controlled substance. All those cases carry sentences of up to 11 months, 29 days in jail, and fines of up to $2,500. In 2020-B-907, you're charged with 6 counts of aggravated kidnapping, carrying sentences of 8 to 30 years in the state penitentiary, and fines of up to $25,000. If convicted of those offenses, you'd have to serve 85% of them before you'd be eligible for parole. The range applicable to you would be 8 to 12 years. You're also charged with 6 counts of aggravated assault, carrying sentences of 3 to 15 years in state penitentiary, and fine of up to $10,000. Range applicable to you being 3 to 6 years. Is that your understanding, sir, of what you're charged with and possible punishment related to those offenses in each case?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that each of those are separate offenses? And if convicted of more than one of them at the trial case, you'd be punished separately for each conviction?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what it takes under the law if you're found guilty of each of those charges? In other words, what the state would have to show you did at the trial case in order for a jury to convict?
Yes, sir.
I understand you're gonna be pleading guilty in 2020-A-499 to unlawful possession of a weapon. You're gonna be sentenced to 11 months, 29 days in jail, which will be suspended. You'll be on supervised probation for 11 months, 29 days. Special condition of that probation is you have a mental health assessment performed, submit to an alcohol drug assessment following treatment recommendations arising from that assessment. You'll be subject to random drug screens. In 2020-B-907, you're pleading guilty to 4 counts of aggravated assault. You're going to be sentenced in each case to 6 years and a range of 1 penalty of 30%, which will be suspended. You'll be on supervised probation for 6 years. The ag assault sentences run concurrently with each other, but the possession of the weapon will run consecutive for a total effective sentence of 6 years, 11 months, and 29 days. Is that your understanding, sir, of what you're pleading to, as well as the actual punishment being imposed?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions at all regarding what you're charged with, the possible punishment related to those offenses, or what you're pleading to in the actual punishment being imposed?
No, sir.
Before deciding to enter these pleas of guilty, did you have an opportunity to discuss in detail with your attorney the facts and circumstances leading up to your arrest?
Yes, sir.
During those discussions, did your attorney explain to you the law that applies to your case, as well as the evidence the state says that they have against you?
Yes, sir.
Also, during those discussions, did your attorney explain to you any defenses that you might have for these charges? In other words, what strategies you would use in an effort to overcome or negate the evidence the state says that they have against you?
Yes, sir.
During the course of those discussions, to the extent that you had any questions, did your attorney satisfactorily answer those questions?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any complaints whatsoever regarding the representation Mr. Kelly has provided you in your case?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Bass, I need to ask you some questions regarding the rights that you have as a criminal defendant. Please listen closely to my questions. Make sure you understand what your rights are, because as a condition of the plea agreement, you will be required to waive or give them up. Therefore, it's important that you understand them so you can make an intelligent decision as to whether or not you in fact wish to waive them. First of all, do you understand that you have a right to persist in your plea of not guilty, demand a trial by jury, and require the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if you were to demand a trial by jury, that you would be entitled to a public and speedy trial by jury? In other words, I'd have to set these cases for trial as quickly as possible in order for a jury to render a verdict on the matters one way or the other.
Yes, sir.
Also understand that if you were to demand a trial by jury, that it would in fact be the state's responsibility to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have no responsibility to establish your innocence, because under the law, you are presumed to be innocent.
Yes, sir.
Further understand that at the trial of the case, you would have the right to testify if you chose to. However, no one can force you to testify against yourself. And if you chose not to testify, I would tell the jury they could not use your silence to infer any guilt on your part. I would remind the jury that you're presumed innocent. You do not have to prove your innocence. The state has to prove you guilty, and therefore you don't have to do anything at the trial. And if you chose not to testify, make it clear to the jury that they could not consider that during their deliberations. For example, they couldn't speculate that by not testifying, you must be trying to hide something and therefore guilty. It would be a matter they could not discuss or use against you for any reason whatsoever. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if you were found guilty at that trial, you'd have you'd have the right to have the jury set any fine in excess of $50, for the court to set your punishment at a separate sentencing hearing. Furthermore, you have the right to appeal both your conviction and your punishment to a higher court, for that court to review what occurred at your trial and sentencing hearing to ensure that you received a fair trial and sentencing hearing. And if that court did not think that you had received a fair trial and or sentencing hearing, they would grant you the appropriate relief, including the possibility of a new trial.
Yes, sir.
And finally, do you understand that throughout all the proceedings I've just gone over, you have the right to an attorney? And if you could not afford an attorney, I would appoint one to represent you, and that would include your appeal in the event that you were found guilty at the trial.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions at all regarding the rights that you have as a criminal defendant?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if I accept your pleas of guilty here today, that this will end your case in the court once and for all? There will be no further plea discussions, jury trial, sentencing hearing, appeals, or anything else. This will be your final appearance in court.
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand that if I accept your pleas of guilty here today, that you will have permanent criminal convictions on your record? And in the event you are convicted of crime after today, the fact that you pled guilty here today could be used against you to increase the punishment on any future conviction. In other words, the more crimes you commit, the worse the punishment becomes.
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you with anything or promised you anything in order to get you to enter these pleas?
No, sir.
Or you entering pleas of guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kelly, you believe your client understands the nature of the charges against him, the law that applies to those charges, pros and cons of entering a plea versus going to trial, and that he's entered a plea freely, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you waive confrontational witness?
We do.
Gentlemen?
Thank you, Your Honor. Case 2020A-499, State of Tennessee versus Montez Bass. State's proof would have been that on August 20th, 2019, officers were patrolling the area of Clarksville Pike and Buena Vista Pike here in Davidson County when they observed a white-colored Saturn without a functioning tag light. Officers pulled the vehicle over, and when it came to a stop, both the driver's and passenger side doors opened. However, officers commanded the occupants to stay inside the vehicle, which they complied with. Mr. Bass was the passenger in that vehicle. When officers reached the vehicle, they noticed the obvious odor of marijuana coming from inside the vehicle, as well as a gun on the passenger's side floorboard in plain view. Probable cause search of the car yielded a quantity of marijuana, as well as pills, a scale, and the loaded handgun. And again, the gun was in the passenger side floorboard, which is the same seat Mr. Bass was in. That'd be the state's proof in that case. Case 2020B-907, state's proof would have been that on March 17th of 2020, officers were dispatched to 2400 Buena Vista Pike, apartment 78 here in Davidson County, in response to a person with a weapon who was identified as Mr. Bass. Mr. Bass lived at that location with the listed victims in the indictment, and they're all related. Officers spoke with the victims who said that Mr. Bass had become upset with his sister, listed in count 2 of the indictment. They had a verbal argument. Mr. Bass began cussing, lost control, and grabbed a silver and black semi-automatic pistol and chambered around, made threats that he would shoot, and there were a number of individuals in the sort of direct presence of Mr. Bass within the apartment at the time, and they are listed within the counts of the indictment. That'd be the state's proof in this case.
Mr. Bass, did you hear the facts read by the District Attorney General in each of your cases?
Yes, sir.
Are those facts true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you going to waive your rights here today to enter pleas of guilty in each of these cases?
Yes, sir.
In case 2020-A-499, we're in charge of unlawful possession of weapon. In 2020-B-907, we're in charge of 4 counts of aggravated assault. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Based upon your pleas of guilty, I find you guilty. I find there's a factual basis to support the pleas. You're competent to enter said pleas, and that you're doing so freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. You'll therefore place into effect the previously announced plea.
Judge, on page 6, Mr. Ivory got assessed by mental health court, and then in 2 weeks, so we put it in 5-5. And they're gonna try something.
No.
Have accepted it or not.
All right.
Judge, I'm happy to wait as long as we need to get Mr. Jackson here. Could we let Ms. Vest go and she could zoom in if we need her?
Well, who and what?
That's the lady with the restitution.
She's with all these.
I just think we're trying to find out where we gotta send it to. Is that all?
Right, and make sure the amount is
Yeah, I think
correct.
General Jackson needs to confirm the amount. I have no idea about this.
Oh.
I don't know what the.
She can go.
Okay.
And
I've got her, I've got her number if we need her. I'm happy to wait. She's been here all day and I totally understand
Is it
he's
supposed
coming.
to be dismissed or something?
She would be going on unsupervised.
Oh, that's right.
Right, assuming this is all correct.
Yeah, have you heard anything, Mr. Jackson?
Ms. Dusenberry just went down there to see and she said, oh, they finished the hearing, but then she was like, oh, they're pulling in witnesses for his other hearing, so he may not actually be able to come for a little while. So.
I mean, if you want, we can put it on Monday and y'all can talk and email me or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
She can leave, both of you can leave if you want to do it that way.
Until Monday, I need.
No, she doesn't need to go.
I mean, the only thing is, I don't want over $4,000 in money orders.
Give us the money order and
Okay.
we'll put them in safekeeping.
And you think I can.
You want the receipts back,
Y'all got to say in your own phone.
Well, they make a copy.
Do a certified letter, certified mail is.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna get all the information.
Whoever, in there, they're like, yeah. And that was.
Or they say anything, they talk all of our.
Yeah, you're good.
Should we report 875?
Just,
So that's what I had. Okay, so we will.
send it to me.
Yeah, I don't think we should be.
So is she gonna come back, she coming back on Monday?
She's,
Or do you want us to
she's
put that in
happy
safe?
to.
I'm happy to.
But if, you know, I mean, you have everything.
I literally slept on it last night.
Well, the clerk has a safe in their office.
Okay, so you're, I don't think you need to come on Monday, just unless that would give you like peace of mind.
All the things also. I'm good, I mean, it's.
Okay, so
But it
just.
really depends on.
I got Chad's copies here.
You what?
I've got Chad's copies of the money orders, the clerk's got.
You don't have to come, it's up to you. We'll put the money, the money
I got your
orders.
number, so if anything comes up, I'll.
Deposit into y'all safe.
Okay,
And then bring them back up here Monday, so we'll get the address and everything, then the clerk's office can send a certified letter to these people, to whomever it is, with the money orders.
Do you want me to seal this?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're not even made out payable to any, I just left
Yeah,
it
we'll
blank.
have to do that on Monday.
Yeah, I was just scared of the wrong thing being on it.
Yeah, put it in a big vanilla envelope and put the case style and everything on there, and then.
Seal it and everything.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
then we'll bring it back up Monday, it'll be in
You don't need to be
safety.
here, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Take care.
And I didn't get a date on Vaughn Harris either,
What?
from
I
Jan.
thought Jan was around this
Division two. Okay.
Is that all it's left?
That's it.
Well,
Give this to Chad.
is it even ordered?
Okay, I will.
Gotta have it, close the dock.